What's happening, YouTube? It's your homie S.Akuma coming back to you with another video. And today's video rounds out the end of the week and the end of this tournament series of the Only Game in Town's tournament. This is round 4. And of course, this tournament was held a couple Saturdays ago, July 13th. And looks like we have Vin of Vector Sigma playing Prowl from Wave 1, Blurr from Wave 2, and Lionizer from Wave 3. So got a little bit of everything facing up against Insecticons. So let's see how this deck does. It had a really nice boost, the Blurr deck with Lionizer from Wave 3, and Blurr can definitely hit very hard. So, alright, so he attacks with Lionizer. Don't know who he's attacking, but we'll find out here in a second. That was a very weak Bold 4, attacking for 2 at, not sure, but Hiding Spot. I like that card a lot in aggressive decks as well. It's the same idea as like how I'm playing into my Shockwave deck to redirect the attack into Lionizer to get a KO on it so it can be equipped to one of your other characters. So very nice tech by Vin. Let's see what the Insecticon player decides to do on his first turn. Looks like, okay, so it looks like the Lionizer attacked Scrapnel. Even though the Lionizer only had 2 attack, it also had the 2 pierce from the hiding spot, so hiding spots rather. But he will start by flipping Scrapnel. Scrapnel will be able to survive another attack here and live, only being able to take 3 damage no matter how high Vin's characters get. Now Blurr is very strong. What Blurr does, if no one knows, in his bot mode, I think he's like a 5-12-0, but in his alt mode, he is a 3-12-2, and whenever he deals damage to a character, he untaps and then is able to attack an untapped character. So, can possibly get 2 very dangerous KOs on characters. So, let's see how his next turn plays out. I imagine this match will be very quick. 2 orange decks like this going head to head. So the Lionizer is KO'd and is put on Blurr. And what's so strong about Blurr and Prowl, especially because turn 1, as you can see, Vin flips Prowl, and then on this turn he can flip Prowl back to give Blurr Bold 2. And then with the Saber giving Bold 4, Blurr has Bold 6, and the Blurr is definitely going to get damage on the Scrapnel. So Blurr will untap again and be able to attack again, also with Bold 6, which is ridiculous. So let's add press the advantage on there as well, targeting the Barrage. So it looks like Barrage is definitely going to get KO'd this turn. Blurr has 5 attack and Bold 6. So yeah, things are about to happen this turn. Also Field Communicator, see what he hits. Hits a Treasure Hunt and he will fish for 4 cards. Being able to add every upgrade that he hits to his hand, adds a Treasure Hunt, or excuse me, a Erratic Lightning and Turbo Booster to his hand. Pretty nice hit for a free card off the Field Communicator. So he's definitely set up for future turns. And crazy stuff's about to happen. So Blurr is going to attack. He's not going to stack, of course, because Scrapnel again can only take 3 damage. But he's going to flip a lot of cards. And the Bold 4. So yeah, it definitely looks like over like 10 damage, but again, the Scrapnel can only take 3. But now, the other cool part happens. Blurr gets to untap, and then he gets to attack an untapped character, who will most likely be Barrage. Barrage now has effectively 0 defense from the press the advantage. And we get this heavy Bold again, flipping a lot of double oranges in this. Yeah, that Barrage, or excuse me, in this flip, that Barrage is definitely KO'd. And there's another double orange. Is that 4 double oranges in this flip? Yeah, he's out of there. Pretty strong attack there. So what the Insecticon player needs to do this turn is kill Blurr. That's the only way for him to win this game. Because as if you remember from last turn, Vin got a Turbo Booster. So if he has a grenade launcher and supercharge or reckless charge for that kickback, he needs to get it on there so he can hit that 14 threshold to kill Blurr. Now Vin, I'm sure plays Start Your Engine, so I mean that's really not a factor. Well, I don't want to say not a factor, but that's a small factor here, for to possibly live, because all he needs is 14 to kill the Blurr. But if Vin happens to flip a Start Your Engines, that may help him survive. Alright, so we have a flamethrower to start out, so kickback will be flipping 10 cards minimum. 6 for having, you know, 3 other Insecticons you started the game with, your 2 initial, and then 2 from Flame War, or from Flamethrower rather. I can't see what action he activated, but let's just see what happens. Squish them like bugs. I like that card a lot too. I think that's going to be a very good side deck card coming up for Gencon, especially against area bots. I think Squish them like bugs also takes the place of Photon Bomb, especially like in 3Y Prime. 3Y Prime, if you have it in your hand, you could play it. Prime deals damage, and then on the next turn you can flip Prime back and get it back. And then your, not Flame War, but even when your Raider Aimless or Hot Rod attacks, the and you know you have Squish them like bugs again, you know it'll proc again and deal another damage. Arm Hovercraft effect, because they're all over 5. But anyway, okay, so kickback attacks and only gets 5, no, not 5 damage. It gets 8 damage on the Blurr, so almost got there. And that's unfortunate for him because Vin is going to have a very strong turn here again, playing Turbo Booster to untap Blurr and do a double attack once again. So 4 attack, bolt 4. His weapon and utility slot are used up. Doesn't look like he has an action to play. Worth playing anyway. I think he has a lot of upgrades in his hand. But he's in a pretty solid position right now. So gonna get the guaranteed kill on kickback. Or not on kickback, I'm sorry, Scrapnel. And what this does is once he kills the Scrapnel, he gets to untap and attack the Ransack as well. So if he can KO the Ransack, that effectively steals an attack from the Insecticon player. Meaning kickback only gets to kill either Blurr or Prowl. And then whichever character Vin has left should kill the kickback for game. Alright. Blurr untaps and attacks for him. There go those 2 hiding spots. I guess he needs to shuffle shuffle some more. So the Blurr is at 4, 6, 8, 10 attack. And that is enough to KO Ransack, I think, because Ransack has 8 health and 2 defense. So that's just enough. So 2 very explosive turns from Vin with that Blurr. And actually, oh no, this is even worse because now that kickback is tapped, he actually gets another attack. Just realized that once the character was off the field. So that is a pretty big turn, pretty big deal. This game is pretty much over at this point. I mean, it was kind of already over even if, you know, kickback was at full health, but yeah, definitely over now. Because what'll happen is it's the same deal. All this does is just make Prowl or Blurr, whoever, you know, kickback doesn't kill, just easier to kill next turn because the kickback only has 4 health left. So not looking good for the Insecticon player. Static Laser, what's that? Basic Combat Protocol and Peace Through Tyranny. None of those cards which will help. Speaking of Peace Through Tyranny, something I was just thinking about randomly earlier as I was thinking about my deck list and things like that, getting ready for Gencon. Be aware of your opponent. You know, it's going to be very cutthroat, I'd say, at Gencon and future tournaments in general. If your opponent plays Peace Through Tyranny with the intentions of scrapping a character that has 5 stars or less, and then, like, you point out to them that it has to be 6 stars or higher, and they're like, oh, whoops, let me take that back. You're not obligated to let them take that back because they're able to actually still play the Peace Through Tyranny. It's not an illegal activation. You can either play it for no effect because it says you may, or they'll just have to scrap one of their KO one of their other characters that is 6 stars or higher. So, and kickback flips a whole bunch of cards as he does best. More than enough to kill the Blurr. Where's the steamroll? Imagine if he did have steamroll. That'd be so sick. That'd be kind of ridiculous. Alright, so Blurr's up out of there. But Blurr with, Prowl with 5 attack already. Or 4, yeah, 5 attack already. Make that 9 attack. Make that 11 attack and -2 defense on the kickback. That's more than enough for game. And we are going to be pushing to game 2 here. 14 attack total. Definitely will seal the deal. Alright, so let's see what these guys end up deciding to side deck. Vin looks like he's not side decking any characters. All his characters are back on the board. Same from game 1, so very explosive deck. That is very scary. I don't think there's many characters that can, especially if the saber is equipped to the blur. Not many characters that can defend an entire attack from that, if any. You know, you'd have to have a sparring gear on the character that Blur's attacking and flip all your double blues and equal and match the attack of Blur. Because the only way to stop Blur is for him to deal no damage. But if he at least deals 1 damage, he is able to untap and attack and untap the character. A ruling I'm curious about though with him is let's say I attack with Blur into a tapped character and, you know, deal damage, of course, and then I untap. But when I untap to attack an untapped character, that untapped character has stealth. So do I even untap anymore? Or I wonder. Because you have to untap and attack an untapped character. It doesn't say untap and you may attack an untapped character. So since you have to, I wonder how that's going to work out. We'll see. Something to ask definitely at Gen Con. Gen Con. Finishing up some siding here. Hope you guys are catching this video in good spirits. Hope everything is well with you all. I'm just sitting here chilling. I'm actually watching Transformers Prime Season 1. For some reason, I'm getting more into the Transformers spirit. I don't know what came over me in the past couple of days, but I've been watching like different fight scenes from different of the Michael Bay Transformer films. Like I said, I'm watching Transformers Prime Season 1, so I'm going to finish that out here. Definitely see if I can download it, or maybe, I wonder if this is on Netflix. Definitely need something on the plane ride to Gen Con. I'm not driving this time, so it's only a 9-hour drive. I mean, I've driven to Florida, driven back from Florida. The Ohio drive, you know, for Origins was 6 hours. I don't know, but that extra 3, I don't feel like driving. I don't know. And then I'm driving by myself. It's always just me, so not a fan, not this time. But I have driven to Gen Con before, though, so during my Yu-Gi-Oh playing days. I wish there was a Yu-Gi-Oh event as well during Gen Con, but Konami doesn't do Yu-Gi-Oh events at Gen Con anymore, unfortunately. Because that would have been cool to see a lot of my friends, you know, or the ones that still do play anyway, that I used to play with. Still a good bit of people, friends that play the game. Shout out to all my Yu-Gi-Oh homies. That'd be cool if like some of them pick up this game and then I can form me a team. Psych. Well, not psych. I take that back. That would be pretty cool. All right, so the Insecticon player is going to start, and he's going to start with Insecticon Scrapnel. Definitely best opening move in an orange versus orange matchup. This puts him very far ahead already to start with attacking with Scrapnel like this. Showing Blur's side, he's naked for stats, or naked for abilities anyway on the other side. So Scrapnel's going to attack Blur, looks like, for 8. Pretty big attack. So now one attack will definitely take out the Blur. No matter who he attacks with, I'm sure the Insecticon player will be able to finish Blur off if he gets the chance to attack it. If Blur doesn't just obliterate the whole team first. So we'll see. So as we saw game 1, Vin started the game and then started off with Lionizer. Now that he's going second, let's see how he manages his turn. Okay, one shot stand on Lionizer and Scrapnel. And he still sends the Lionizer in. Okay, so he's not necessarily worried about getting a big attack this turn using Blur because he has one action or upgrade, but he did use it on one shot stand. Better orange flips this turn from the Lionizer, but none of it matters because Scrapnel will only take 3. But what's nice about the one-shot stand on the Scrapnel is now Scrapnel only needs 1 more hit to be KO'd instead of 3 attacks. Which is another reason why Scrapnel's so good. If your opponent doesn't draw any direct damage, it'll take 3 attacks to kill Scrapnel. Putting 3 attacks into one character with stats like Scrapnel is kind of ridiculous, but it's his ability that makes him so good. Alright, so we got a Static Laser and Ironhide, Flamethrower, new designs, I want to say. It looks like new designs. Interesting tech. 2 new designs because 2 of the same card. That's definitely new designs, right? Yeah. Okay. So he could play it this turn, but he only gets 1 attack, so don't know how valuable that'll be. Checking Barrage, flips Barrage. Attacks with Barrage. Okay. So he's going to go KO the Lionizer, not giving Vin a chance to piece through Tyranny the Lionizer and get 2 ridiculous turns. And that's actually something, that's another thing I want to talk about. I'm hoping I can make a video before GenCon to get people more prepped for the tournament with some of the things I've learned through my shadow play and playing with, Wads and my boy Maurice over the past couple of weeks. Killing Lionizer is actually the way to go. There are some situations where you don't want to kill the Lionizer, but don't be afraid to kill Lionizer, because if they do have Peace Through Tyranny, especially in a deck like Cars, any Cars variants, the way the fact that they're able to untap and like attack again, imagine like Wheeljack 7 or 5 Bolt 7 attacking, and then from a Peace Through Tyranny turn or whatever, and then they start your engines and untap Wheeljack again. Yeah, 2 of your characters are definitely gone. So if you can, Blue Decks is gonna have a harder time doing that, but anyway, let's get back to the commentary here. So Squish Like Bugs, Squish Them Like a Bugs. One of my favorite cards, top 5 favorite cards from this set, is an Arm Hovercraft for characters with less stars than the character that attacks. So as long as the character that attacks has more stars than the other characters, all the characters take 1 damage. So what's great about this is if he's attacking Barrage like I think he is, the 1 damage will spread across because Blurr has 12 stars. So every character with 12 stars less deal 1 damage to each of them. And what makes that so good here is that the Scrapnel is KO'd here, and then Blurr gets to untap and attack another character again. This turn is ridiculous. That card is ridiculous. Squish and Saber and Blurr. This is just an insane turn. The matchup just was improved so much with the Wave 3 upgrades. So Blurr's going to attack again. I'm sure he's attacking Kickback to leave the Insecticon player with no room to breathe. Wow. Okay, yep. 3 double oranges. That's ridiculous. That's beyond ridiculous. So now the Insecticon player is left with a Scrapnel, or with a Scrapnel. Why do I keep saying Scrapnel? Left with a Ransack, and yeah. Ransack can kill the Blurr, but I'm sure that's okay. The Prowl still has a lot of value having the Force Field on it. That Squish Like Bugs play was insane. Squish Like Bugs is definitely going to be very good against aerial bots and definitely Insecticons. So if you have not considered side decking that card, definitely consider it. Even main decking it, depending on what deck you're playing. Like I said, 3Y Prime is going to love it because especially against Insecticons, they can keep reusing it with Optimus, which is insane. So very, very excited for that card. So Ransack here, the only option that he has is to use Ransack. I mean, he could flip to the other mode and get 1 more defense and have 2 attack, but that Static Laser and Ironhide is not going to help him here. Putting himself 2 health less, 2 health closer to being KO'd is definitely not ideal this turn. Alright, so he does decide to flip the Ransack here. Plays a Static Laser. Yeah, it kind of doesn't matter what he does at this point. Like I said, he can KO the Blurr, but Prowl is most likely going to KO the Ransack next turn. Well, I don't say most likely. Vin only has 2 cards in hand. Who knows if he has a upgrade or a weapon in his hand. Oh, well, there's press the advantage, so there's that. And again, the Static Laser just made it easier for the Prowl to KO the Ransack. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up here because not too much more to say. You can kind of see what's about to happen here. Yeah, press the advantage, and I think, is that grenade launcher? Oh yeah, it's definitely over. With that, guys, I appreciate you watching this video series with me. I hope you guys enjoyed the all the matches. Let me know in the comments down below what was your favorite match from these 4 rounds. Expect a whole bunch of GenCon content coming up, and at least 1 or 2 more videos before I go to GenCon. You guys have a great day or a great night whenever you're catching this video. This is S.Akuma heading out. Peace.